Thank you so much for joining me for this masterclass. Today, we will be talking about goals. I am America's Supermom, and I want to thank you for joining me for this class. As we begin a new year in 2021, this is a topic that is very popular. What goals are we going to be setting for this new year? How is this year going to be different? For those of you who may be watching live, as in going through this experience after enduring a 2020 that was filled with a lot of grief, turmoil, a lot of change, stretching out of your comfort zone due to a global pandemic. This is a new beginning for us at this time, and we are trying to figure out the best way to navigate through such circumstances. So, even though this is a familiar time, it's a little different because things have changed tremendously on a global scale. So, as we talk about goals, it may mean a little bit more to those who are watching because of the um, just the rug being pulled out from underneath us. It was probably the best way to talk about it. So now it is picking up the pieces and deciding how we want to move forward in this new normal. So, as we talk about goals, many of you have talked about SMART goals, making sure they're measurable and time bound and things of that nature. And we are just going to be talking about how we can set our goals and accomplish them. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the SMART goals, and we're not going to tackle it that way. We're going to actually use goals as an acronym and go over ways that we can successfully achieve our goals. So, the first letter that we come to is G, and that is to gamify. This is an important thing to think about when it comes to goals because the first thing we do usually is compare ourselves to others. So if I'm a coach, which I refer to myself as one as a lifestyle designer, um, we want to gamify it so that the competitor that we are working to achieve better results from is ourself. We're able to gamify it and measure how we've changed from week to week, month to month, from year to year. So we can gamify these things by being able to measure how we are accomplishing our goals. So usually this takes the form of setting a quota or a number of sales that we want to accomplish in a particular week, month, quarter, something of that nature. So when we gamify it, we can build in rewards for ourselves. So if you achieve, this quota, so to speak, and this term comes to me from, come being in a retail background, but you may have a service that you want to provide to a number of clients, or maybe there's products that you want to sell within a given time. So gamifying is, deciding in advance what are some rewards that you want to set for yourself when you achieve the goals that you are striving for. Okay. The next element is offering something daily. So, in order for you to be able to gamify to accomplish your results that you're striving for, you have to offer something. So many times we hide behind email messages, voicemails, we send people things and we don't follow up, right? We don't have that direct contact. When we get somebody on the phone, our first response is, I don't want to sound salesy, right? But if you're open for business, you're going to have to be assertive and let people know what you have to offer, right? People cannot read your mind. And so this also helps you with being able to track what you're doing. So if you're not offering anything or having conversations with people around what your goals and aspirations are, then how are you going to accomplish them? So sometimes we just kind of miss some of the basic building blocks and we put too much on ourselves. We procrastinate, we get overwhelmed, and all these things because we're not following a logical train of thought. So, offering something, anything, every day, telling people where to find it, just having those type of discussions on a daily basis will allow you to not be so tied to the outcomes. Every day doesn't have to be a sale, but you should be known for whatever it is that you are in business for. So if I'm a McDonald's and I say, "Oh, I just feel like I'm salesy, I don't want to put my sign out." "Oh, I feel like I'm salesy, I don't want to have a drive-through." I mean, these are some things that we really need to dive into thinking about logically. McDonald's has its sign out. They have uniforms. They have so many things that they have commercials, right? So we have to be in a situation to think if we're not going to do these things for ourselves, how are they going to get done? Who is going to tell people that we're open for business? We have to be our own ad marketer, all these different things. So offering something every day. The next letter is A, and that's adjusting your goals when necessary. So if you are having the mindset to make 10 sales a week, and over a period of time, this is the thing with consistency, with tracking and measuring, you notice that you're only accomplishing 5 sales a week. So you might want to figure out, really reflecting, why is it that you're getting 5 and not 10? Now, if you are consistently getting 5, one option could be to duplicate your work with another individual so that they can get 5 and you can accomplish 10 sales a week. That's an easy fix. Or you can dive into, why am I only getting 5? What is a way that I can duplicate that? If you're consistently getting those 5, then you might also offer a referral bonus to some of your clients. If they sign up or refer somebody to you, that could be another way that you can go from 5 to 10. So it takes some adjustments in thinking about, how is it that you're accomplishing these 5. So if you are accomplishing half your goal consistently, you might need to tweak the goal or think of ways that you can duplicate what you're doing on a scale that allows you to accomplish that goal. Many times we don't look at that. We just keep on adding more and more. So if you have a goal of 10, you just get motivated one day and you're not accomplishing 10, but you're like, I've been doing 5 and I can do it. I'm going to go for 15. That's overwhelmed. That is not setting a realistic standard for yourself because your consistent results have been 5 sales. So, thinking about expanding growth, increasing your number is a great way to go. However, it's the method that you might want to look into. So if you're consistently doing something in your own strength, which is the 5 sales, think about how you can train somebody or train 2 people that can get 5 sales a week. And then you can go from 5 to 15 because you have 2 people who can do the same thing that you're doing. So a lot of times we need to think of the adjustments in terms of duplication. What is it that you're doing right consistently that you're able to get some results from, that you can begin to duplicate that by getting someone to do a part of what it is that you do, or someone that you can train to do exactly what you do to get the same results so that you can duplicate those over a course of time and achieve the goals that you're aspiring for. The next thing is laughing and having fun. This is important because many times we get tunnel vision. We get so focused on what it is that we are striving for that we forget to have fun. So this happens many times with entrepreneurs who are so excited to have their own business, make their own hours, do all these different things, but then they forget and don't want to have fun. They get stressed out. They think about, this bill is coming. So, do I have enough sales for this? Or a client doesn't come through. So then it's like, how am I going to make up this income from this person? These are some of the things that happen, that we don't discuss when it comes to entrepreneurship. We usually talk about the highlight reel of how you have time freedom, but time freedom comes from building a successful business that runs itself so that you can have time freedom. Because you're still making the income necessary to maintain the lifestyle that you desire. So this is a good point because many people love having their own business, but they're working the business. So if they want to take a day off, if they're not out there working, they're not getting paid. That's not a business. That is just working for paying your bills. It's the same thing as having an employer. Okay. So when you are having a business, the business is running and creating income whether you're not there or not. Okay. So this is why it takes time to build a business because there are moving parts that go into acquiring assets that begin to make money for you. So oftentimes we talk about multiple streams of income and people are like, well, I've got this person talking to me about this business and that business. I can only focus on one thing at a time. That's because you can only do one thing at a time. But if you are focusing on multiple streams of income, you will find that you don't have to personally be responsible for maintaining income when you have multiple sources, because that's where the business mindset happens. The business creates income on its own for whatever reason. So you're able to duplicate something that you're desiring to do. For example, let's say that you are a coach. So you want to increase your revenue. So, yeah, you can make so many sales by dealing individually with clients, but you want to take it up a notch. So you begin to have master classes that you can record, you can turn into a course. People can pay for the course. They will get the recordings. You record the recording one time, but you're selling it for a lifetime. This is your intellectual property that you begin to make available for a fee to people who need your insight and information. So that's just one example. So you record the video one time and you can sell it as many times as people will pay for it. So that is one way that you can duplicate yourself instead of thinking that you have to be present in every situation in real time in order to make money. So it's about finding creative ways that you can repurpose the things that you do one time and it can make money for you for a lifetime. Hence, writing books, right? You write the book one time, but as many times as you sell it, create um, additional copies, that's multiple streams of income. So I hope that makes sense. And then the last letter is S, and that's script. So this is the key to not getting married to the outcomes. This allows you to not take things personally. So when you have a script of something that you say to people, um, it makes you have the ability to talk to multiple people at the same time. So it's no different than having a recording or something like that. So, for example, scripts are good for introductions. If you are telling people your elevator pitch, so to speak, it's the same thing that you would say in person, but maybe you write it out and send it to people when you connect with them on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, right? So someone reaches out, they want to get connected to you, and you say, So nice to connect with you. Um, I would love to get together on a Zoom call so that we can talk about ways that we can help one another and support one another in our businesses. What type of introductions can I make for you in my network that could help you accomplish your goals this year? Now, that is a pretty reasonable ask for an individual that you haven't met before. So, why not copy and paste that message and send that to people on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn when you make a new connection with someone? So, this is something that you could do that doesn't allow you to get married to the outcomes, but you are offering something. You are offering the opportunity to talk with them one on one on a Zoom call to find out more about them, which allows you to establish more of a relationship rather than trying to sell somebody something, right? So if you have so many leads, this is a lead generation exercise that you do on a regular basis that can eventually lead to people that you can convert to clients as you have conversations about what it is that you do. So it's scripted in a way that you can do 50 of those easily a day. And you may not get all 50 people that would be interested in a Zoom call for whatever reason, or maybe they don't check their messages on a regular basis. But it's a numbers game when you're dealing with people that you don't know, when you're selling products and services. It's about getting that exposure. So, this is one of the things that happens behind the scenes. It's no different than having an advertisement. So, some of the things that people forget about is they want to have ads, for example. And I get that you want to have ads, but ads are something that costs you more money if people don't know who you are. What makes you different than everybody else if you don't have a following or people don't know who you are? So, this is why the time is taken in doing Facebook Lives, in having master classes, webinars, so that people can get used to your brand, what it is that you consistently bring to the table, so that when you do an ad, it has an impact and you're able to quickly show and illustrate to people what you do, right? So often everybody is ready to just place an ad. You've been in business for 2 or 3 days, but you think, okay, I'm going to have an ad. I'm going to create click funnels. I'm going to do all these different things. And I say this because it's the beginning of the year. Some of you may be starting a business from scratch, something new. Maybe you're pivoting or whatever the case is, but you don't have the infrastructure to support some of the things that readily are paid for, right? So I have a podcast, for example. So they give you the option to monetize the podcast. Now, I didn't monetize my podcast until I started getting a number of listeners. Why? Because if you only have 5 people listening, you can monetize as much as you want. You're not going to make any money because you only have 5 people. It's about getting exposure and getting your podcast out there to thousands of listeners before the little small bonus or whatever that they pay you adds up to where it really amounts to something. Okay. So we think a lot of times, oh, I'm starting a business. Let me buy this. Let me get this. And you don't have the infrastructure to support it. That's how you get burnt out because you're creating bills for yourself instead of having the freedom to be creative and continue to dive deeper into some of the things that matter to you. You have to really find your voice, right? You have to find out what is your zone of genius. So when you have scripts, it lets you take that emotion out of it and you're thinking of building, right? A very easy example is someone who makes clothing. Now I can go and buy a warehouse full of fabrics, buttons, all the things that I need to make thousands of outfits. But if I don't have any customers, do you see how I've invested all that money into items that are not going to serve me well? Because what happens is that need to convert all that product in that warehouse to money to pay my bills begins to overwhelm me because I'm constantly reminded of all this stuff that I have, but I don't have any clients to service. So you have to create the demand first from people knowing who you are. And then you can rapidly, if this is something you're expert in and gifted in, you can rapidly duplicate yourself once you create the demand. So I hope that makes sense. So when we're dealing with scripts, scripts allow us to not get emotional. We are just talking in our everyday talk, being authentic, and making this script available to a number of people that we encounter because somebody may be attracted to that. So, that is an easy way that we can kind of keep the emotion out of it, but stay focused on what it is that we want to accomplish on a regular basis. So I hope this made sense for you guys. But thinking about when it comes to your goals, what are the things you have to do in order to accomplish them? Because it's not a magical thing that happens on its own. It's not a matter of not thinking big enough. The bigger we think, sometimes we intimidate ourselves to even get started. So, as you think about the goals that you want to accomplish, think about these elements that we discussed today in ways that can motivate and inspire you to take action on a regular, consistent basis so that you can achieve the things that you desire. So I want to thank you guys for watching today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments and I will definitely reach out to you and respond. If you're interested in scheduling a session to talk about your goals, feel free to click on the link below and we can set up a time to help you move forward in 2021 with the success of accomplishing the goals that you desire for yourself. Have a wonderful day and thank you for watching. See you on the next episode.